All right then. Hello, willkommen, bienvenue. It's time for the Amish Inquisition, episode 398 on Sunday, the 9th of November, 2025. I'm Phil.
I am Ben.
And I am Matt.
And tonight, very happy to be joined by Tony Marresse. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing good. Thanks for the perfect pronunciation and wonderful stuff.
Is that correct? Is it an Italian
It is,
origin?
yes. It's Italian name, Southern Italian. A bit like Martin Scorsese, but less famous.
Yeah.
Scorsese.
How long is it since your family sort of arrived from Italy?
Mid-50s.
Oh, right.
Came here, so I'm first generation British.
Yeah.
Italian heritage from the southern part of Italy, mountains of South Italy. Yeah.
Nice. Do you go back there?
I have been, not on a regular basis. Kind of, I've got cousins there. I've got to take my kids there, actually. I've got to introduce my kids to them. So, yeah, I will be doing that again. But I've been like maybe 3 or 4 times. It's a great place. But I'm also quite scared. I've got a terrible fear of driving on cliff roads. So that's kind of like puts me off going anywhere like that because it's just like Lord of the Rings, basically. There, everything's on top of a mountain. Everything's got like a 400-meter drop. Everyone just goes like 80 miles an hour around the bend, like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, and I get paralyzed with fear on mountain roads. I must have been chucked off in another life, thrown off a cliff or fell off a cliff or something because I just don't like it. So that does put me off a bit. I like Norfolk, nice and flat, bit of seaweed, reasonable ocean.
I went to Germany. I think in 1990 or 91 with my mum and dad, and we went to the Eagle's Nest, which was Hitler's lair up in the mountains.
Oh, wicked.
And you went in, it was like a big Mercedes, I think, or a BMW coach, and it was the same. It was like a bare knuckle ride to get to the top. You just wonder the pure stones on these drivers, the way they would take these hairpin bends. It was mental.
And you're hoping that they haven't had some kind of soul collapse or split up with their wife. It's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to kill everyone this time. And it's like, this is it. And it's just like everyone's in the back singing, Michael Caine songs from the Italian Job. Next thing you're tumbling over a fucking cliff because I don't know. Juan's had a bad time with his wife. He's just found out his wife is cheating, and 80 people are now dead. Well, that happened, didn't it? That happened in a plane, didn't it? That happened in
So they say,
that very thing. Actually, I'm not belittling it and horrific as it is, but
It's kind of.
I think he was German.
I was going to say, I think he was a German pilot that did that, yeah.
And was it not controversial that there was the theory that the airline or maybe the manufacturer was sort of pinning it on the guy?
Right, okay.
And wasn't there a rumor? Was it MH73? Malaysia Airlines MH73, the one that disappeared.
Another MH, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that
Another
disappeared.
MH.
What's the significance of MH, Tony?
I don't know, but what do you think that footage is real with the orbs circling the plane?
Oh shit! Yeah, I saw that video.
I don't know. How do you know what to believe when you see videos online? You just don't.
How can you know? You can't, can you? That could just be 3 ping pong balls, couldn't it? And a little toy that you get at the airport, and someone's just put them on a green screen or through the AI. It's very difficult now, unless you see it with your own eyes, or the footage is like from 10 years ago plus. It's hard to ascertain, and I think that's kind of like changing the game now for everyone. People are just going to now be even more confused than ever about what's reality, especially the new generation that are not going to have any point of reference of old videos that they can look back on in their memories and think, well, I remember watching stuff about the pyramids, or the Nazca lines, or the Nephilim. I watched stuff about that in the 80s. There was no AI then. You've got a point of reference. Now it's just like anyone can make up anything at any given moment. So it's probably going to be like a wash of non-belief in anything coming our way.
Yeah,
Well-
ignorance is bliss, though.
Yeah, well, I remember C-3PO having 2 copper legs, 2 gold legs.
He was
What
gold.
else is going to They are gold, aren't they?
He had
Oh no, it's the Mandela effect, isn't it, of C-3PO in his silver leg.
Was it not a silver arm? I thought. He had
No,
a
it's a
silver...
leg.
Is
It's
it
one
a
of his legs.
Right.
One of his
okay.
legs is silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of his
Really?
legs is silver. Yeah, go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Which one? Which one of the movies?
All of them.
Which leg?
Really?
Yeah. It's a
'cause he got
Mandela
it-
effect.
Are you sure that's not because he got like broken up in that scrapyard for robots and they put him back together with a dodgy leg? He's got a gammy leg.
I know he got blew to bits, and Chewie was carrying him on his back,
Yeah.
wasn't he, for a while? But
Yeah, it
no,
could have been that.
in the first film, from the first scene, on board the starship.
That's weird.
Actually, I've got
I
a
don't
nice
believe
little.
you.
I've got a nice little. I don't know if you know about the script writing of the original Star Wars, but Luke was called Luke Skykiller in the original script, and there was a lot of other differences, and they were changed. His script kept getting refused, and his wife was an anthropophysicist, so into Steiner, into Rudolf Steiner. So she took the script to one of her Steiner group meetings, and they changed several things. They changed the lasers to the swords, because Steiner's all about swords and dragons.
Yeah.
Not all about that, but that's significant. So that's where the lightsaber came from. And also they changed various other points in the plot, and they changed some of the names, and they changed Luke's Skykiller to Skywalker. So there's a Rudolf Steiner element in the script writing of Star Wars, the original script. So there's a little tidbit for you to kick off.
That was George Lucas's wife, was it?
Yeah.
All right, I had no idea. She
Yeah,
was
you
big
can look
into-
that up. I think that's not like a controversial
No.
thing. I don't think it's like much talked about, and he'd probably go, "Well, that's not true." But I,
So it's
that
like
is
poetry. It rhymes.
I just wrote it in the toilet. I was sitting there and I thought of a robot and spaceships. So yeah, it may make sense to me though, because it's very much like an old fairy tale, isn't it? Star Wars in many ways. It's like a classic tale, isn't it? It's one of those classic
Hero's journey.
Yeah, hero's journey, swords, kind of baddie.
Well,
etc.
Lucas was influenced by that Japanese film that slips my mind now. But it's been commented on often that he was a fan of, or maybe was influenced by Joseph Campbell, and so that's why the story follows this sort of these archetypes, and why it works, and why it's so universally loved. The old Star Wars films, that is, not the new ones.
Yeah.
It's Seven
A
Samurai.
couple of the new ones, all right. The Rogue One's pretty good.
I like
Watch
Rogue
them.
One.
Don't
Oh,
don't
you've,
Rogue-
you've wound him up now.
Oh, it was going so well, Tony.
Did I say Rogue One? Sorry, I meant June 2049. I've got a terrible sore throat. It came out wrong. I'm not gonna get. I made
No.
a Star Wars versus Star Trek sketch once. I shall send you a link to that one day.
All right.
Just little fans fighting each other. It's got some really good CGI in it.
To be
Completely different thing. It's different aside.
to be fair, Rogue One is the best of the Disney ones, I would suggest.
Yeah, I liked
mean,
it.
I think it's pretty good. I mean, I've watched. It's one of the ones we've watched a few times. My youngest is into Star Wars Lego, so we have a lot of Star Wars Lego, and he's building all the ships. And I like sci-fi as well. I mean, who doesn't like sci-fi? I'm not sure. Most people who are kind of alternative like a bit of sci-fi. Mind you, we did watch Doctor Strange last weekend with the kids, and I thought that was quite a fabulous movie with
Which one? The new one?
Cumberbatch.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one. And the second one, directed by Sam Raimi, very convoluted, overtly dark, like 6 plots in one. It was just like, it's still pretty, it was all right. But, the first one was just, when a movie just takes you on a little journey and you could just switch off and not have to think about it too much and you don't yawn, you know you're onto a winner. But when it's like so convoluted, a bit like Transformers, when you don't know what's happening on the screen, it's like a junkyard exploding every 5 seconds. Isn't it?
Yeah, so the Michael Bay signature, isn't it? Just explosions everywhere, and
he does that shot. If you notice, he does that shot. It's a slow motion shot, and light shines off a shiny surface, and he does it all the time. And it's usually just before an action sequence, but it's a signature shot that he does in all of his films. Look out for it.
The Michael Bay shiny bit.
Yeah, the Michael Bay shiny surface shot is what it should be called. Yeah.
hey, to be fair, he must be like a gazillionaire, because people trash him for his directorial style, but a lot of his films make a hell of a lot of money. So you know, he knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does. I mean, I liked Sam Raimi's Evil Dead. I was a big fan of the Evil Dead when they were out, and we was watching it on VHS back in the day. And that trilogy is pretty good.
It is. Is it the second one that's starts in a supermarket? Evil Dead.
No, isn't the second one. He arrives in medieval times, doesn't he?
Oh shit! Yes, in the second one, yeah.
I think you're thinking of Day of the Dead.
I am. Yeah, there's so many dead films out there.
You're missing up your genres there, mate. Hold on a minute. You're on zombies. You've jumped into zombies. We're still on kind of like 80s sci-fi kind of slash horror movie.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
All about that.
I was looking.
A great movie, and some of these movies, you know, like I'm sure you lot all know about They Live and those films. They're kind of like not. I don't know if they're predictive programming, but I think things just go in loops. Information just is in loops, and you know, you pick stuff out of the ether, or whatever you want to call it, the akashic stream of consciousness. And you know, if you're at the top of your game, or if you're very creative and you're locked in, musicians, filmmakers, writers, they're just picking these ideas out. And they're looping round and round.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Not really. I think the themes are there and the information is there, and it's just going round and round. I think, and there was Michael Jackson actually said once. An interviewer said to him, "Why do you work so late in your studio?" And he's like, "Well, you know, if I don't stay up till 4 a.m. I don't know why I'm doing Mickey Mouse." Basically, he said, if I don't stay up till 4 a.m., when a song comes in about 2 a.m, he goes, Prince will get it before me. They're all like, aware of it. Like the things are kind of floating. You must have had ideas. You know, you have an idea and everyone else is having it at the same time.
Just receivers.
Yeah, basically, kind of transmitter receivers, the pineal.
A lot of them do say that. When you read articles about songwriters, they sort of say that it kind of comes to them.
It's like the muse, isn't it? The tale of the muse.
The muse,
ancient times.
Inspiration.
I think I was reading. What was not Stevie Nicks? Is it Christine McVie? She was saying about Songbird came to her in the middle of the night, and she said that she had to go and record it quickly before she forgot what it was, essentially. And I was reading an article today actually about that. But it's not the only sort of songwriter that I've heard them say that they kind of come from nowhere. Quite often in the early hours as well. Wow. Definitely after not taking loads of cocaine.
Is it the same with joke writing?
Slip that in.
Yeah.
The only thing that comes to me in the middle of the night is the need for having a piss, generally, or acid reflux. I wish I got these beautiful ideas that generate millions of pounds.
Yeah.
But actually, someone did tell me that there was the guy who composed "We're Walking in the Air." That guy, he told me about I was with him once drunk at the Groucho Club in Soho, and he was playing the piano and he was quite pissed up and he was playing all tunes. And he went, that song came to me and it made me so much money that I bought a house in Switzerland on a mountain.
Nice.
That's what he told me. And then he went on to say to me, do you know that, and this is quite a few, this is like 25 years ago. He went, you know that they killed Diana, don't you? A good friend of mine. It was, you know, when people are pissed, man, shit just pours out like a volcano. It was great. I was going, tell me more. And so there's another song that came to someone and did him very, very well. Obviously, you have to be a good musician to be able to take it down. There's no point in coming to me.
No.
You're like, with the keyboard going, only if I knew how to play.
And you can't force it either. It either comes or it doesn't.
Do you reckon, Tony, there's ways to tune into, the frequency you want might be comedy or music or whatever, but you're stuck on spreadsheets or some bullshit. Could you retune your aerials to receive some shit hot money making ideas, do you think?
I think you absolutely can. I think you can use methods like the Jose da Silva technique. You could use cryo yoga. You can use.
I cried at yoga once. Wasn't invited back.
Did you split your Lycra pants? Yeah. I can't see if you got a big ass, but you look quite skinny to me, so it's probably not.
No.
There is. You can tap into that though. You could do it. Sometimes it could just randomly happen. It can happen on mushrooms, for example, or it could happen. Other kind of various types of kind of psychedelics happened to me. Just taking some strong CBD oil in Mexico, suddenly I could see the stream of consciousness, and it was just like information moving. And I seemed to, obviously, you could just say, you fucking stoner. You think you know everything when you're stoner. I knew everything, man. I knew all the answers. I'm still not a millionaire, but I could feel that I had the answers, and I could just get the answers to anything that I needed to ask. So I think, yeah, you can tune in. I think people, and I think you don't even have to use any of those. You could just be heavily in the moment. Like if you're connecting, if you're a musician and you're just deep in with your guitar or your drums or your keyboard, and you're just there and everything else is zoned out, I think that's the same thing. You're just in that zone of frequency, and then you connect.
Flow, they call it flow state. And you'll things just happen. Like you just throw your hand. You play bass, I play guitar. We have done for decades. You just throw your hands at it, just hoping something happens, and then you just get immersed. You almost get lost, and before you know it, you're playing something new, and it's like, oh, quick, grab the phone, stick it on recorder, record that, because if you don't capture it, you end up changing it and adapting it, and it's gone, and the thing you first come up with has changed. But if you record it straight away, you can keep a record of it and then develop it how you want then. But yeah, it's like use it or lose it, isn't it?
It is.
And I would imagine if you've had, I'm a believer in multiple lifetimes. And I think if you've had many lifetimes as a musician, and you was just getting better and better in each lifetime, and you maybe then incarnate as Mozart, your connection is almost like on all the time and permanent. And you're at a high level, both connection-wise, ability-wise. Everything's in place for you to then have like entire symphonies, downloaded into, and for you to just take dictation. Some of those pieces are like one draft, right? Of some of them composers.
That's a bit
imagine that. It's amazing.
It sounds a bit like epigenetics, almost metaphysical epigenetics. So epigenetics is where your DNA is impacted by, say, your great-grandparents smoking or whatever. There's minor changes in your DNA as a result of social things that happened in your past. I think what you're mentioning there is almost like your past lives influence your current life in a little bit, so that you might maintain some of that skill musically, say, in your example.
Yeah, I think they definitely do. I think you definitely have imprints in your field in regards to what you've been through. If you're a very young soul incarnating, maybe just a few dozen lifetimes or a few hundred, you haven't accumulated. I mean, it's just say analogies are just like school, isn't it? Or any form of study. The more you put into it, the more you've accumulated knowledge-wise, and muscle memory, and everything else that goes with being a musician or a comedian or a writer or an actor or an engineer. It's kind of probably in your DNA and in your magnetic field, in your holographic kind of what's Rupert Sheldrake call it? Morphic field.
Yeah, morphic resonance.
Yeah, so in your morphic field, is all that information is held in there. It's like magnetic tape, basically. It's like the old magnetic tapes that people used to record on the 2-inch tape. It's there on the tape, and if you can recall it, it's in the background. I think it's definitely true, because some people are just like incredibly brilliant at stuff without having to try. And then you've got that whole kind of phenomena where someone gets knocked on the head, you know, and then suddenly they're like, I can now speak Japanese. And yeah, and science tries to kind of like style it out and go, well, what's happening here? It's blah, 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 blah. You can't fucking style that out at all. You don't just learn Japanese. It ain't, unless it's inherently in everyone. You're picking it out of the field, or something is, neurons have moved, and suddenly you can connect to that bit of information. Or maybe you spoke Japanese before, but I think it's more likely a bit like the Matrix, where you can kind of download suddenly a download is possible. And it happens with musicians as well, doesn't it? Like with people who can't play keyboard, suddenly, they're playing, amazing pieces. But you could bang your head on the wall for like 25 years hoping that will happen. I go, fucking hell, when's my turn?
We talked about this last week, didn't we? About the guy who had the salvia trip.
Yeah.
And in our reality, he basically had a seizure for like 30 seconds. But in the reality he was experiencing, which lasted 10 or 15 years, he was in a Queen cover band. And when he came back from the seizure, he could still play the piano. He could play Bohemian Rhapsody on piano, which he couldn't do before.
That's crazy.
It's mental.
That's really crazy.
When I asked you about tuning in, Ben asked you about tuning in. You mentioned someone first. Was it Jose something?
Jose de Silva.
Who's that, and what's that technique?
So there's Jose de Silva. If I could give a kind of rough, accurate, I think he was around in the 70s, 80s, and I don't think he was trained in psychology or anything. I think he worked in the army. I can't remember exactly the detail, but he's a guy from Mexico. He wanted his kids to do better at school, so he developed a few techniques through bits of information that he garnered to try and get them for their studies to stick more in their mind. So he developed a technique basically where you go into the alpha state, and then from that he developed it, and it became like an international thing. You can buy the course online now from Mind Valley. They've sold the rights to them, the family. But basically what happens is that you could buy a book and do it via a book, but it's a technique of counting down, like a bit like self-hypnosis. And then you'll count down and you'll go into a mind alpha state. So in that mind alpha state, then you can start programming your reality. And people who are really good at it, I mean, when you read the books, they're full of unbelievable stories, truly unbelievable stories. And I know someone whose mum was a senior teacher of it, and she's an actress, this friend of mine. And she said, so you're programming the field. You're programming into reality with this technique. And if you get it right, you could basically reprogram your existence. You can change your body. So her mum, she's an actress, and her mum would say to her, I wish you'd get a gig and come over to Saudi Arabia, where she had now moved to work and was living. She went, actually, don't worry about it. I'll just program it in.
Nice.
Don't worry about it. I'll leave it to me. And so she started putting that program into her subconscious mind. The next show she auditions for and she gets the part for goes on tour, and one of the spots is in Saudi Arabia. She's never been there before. So this is all, you can read the books. I mean, Jose de Silva technique, they're fantastic information in there. And, people literally, a bit like, Joe Dispenza? Yeah, a bit like that. It's a bit like, but without having to go to like a $5,000 trip to Cancun, which, I'm sure is fabulous, but, you have to have the money and the time and get a ticket, a bit like Glastonbury, they sell out in a couple of minutes. But there's one of the tales in the book is of a lad who was in hospital, and he'd been in hospital since he was born. He had one leg shorter than the other. He had a gammy leg as well, a bit like C-3PO. He had a dodgy leg. He had MS. I can't remember. He had like 20% vision. Everything you could think of, there was something wrong with him. And a nurse had given him a copy of the book, and he used it. He read it so much, he wore the book out. It like fell to pieces. And he had nothing else to do apart from lie in his bed doing this technique. And basically, he fixed every part of his body. He grew his leg longer. He got rid of MS. He got his vision to 20/20 vision. It's like he just spent the whole time. And that's what Joe Dispenza did when he broke his back. I don't know if you know his tale. Before he started with like his whole kind of big business phenomena and the brain scans and these meditations, he got run over. Some old deer ran him over on his bike. I think it was on his bike. So like, oh, sorry, man. And she just drove off. I don't know what happened. I'm making that bit up. And so he got, and his back was broken, and he lay in hospital, and he's like, they were going to put steel pins all the way through his spine, right down his back. And he decided that he didn't want that. And he just lay there and visualized himself fixing his back, because he was also a doctor. He knew the anatomy, and he was just going through it bit by bit, repairing it for weeks on end, lying in bed. He'd also done lots of Kundalini yoga in his freshman years. So I found that out later on, reading some more about him, that he'd been doing lots of Kundalini meditations. So he did have a basis for it. He knew about Babaji and through the yogis that are out there. And he fixed his back. That's how that whole phenomenon starts, with him being run over, his back being broken, and him repairing it himself with the power of his mind, literally just with the power of his mind. It's very similar to the Jose de Silva technique. So what you learn from all that is everything is programmable. You know, everything is changeable. And we've been so kind of programmed into believing that that's not possible, that it takes the will of God. Literally, you have to have such a strong willpower to change your programming. And that's what it's about, is changing your programming, whether it's, you know, like you're smoking, whether you're, you know, you want to change your eating habits, whether you want to be more successful. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm a master of this at all. I have done lots of those techniques and had some success. But I know that you can reprogram your reality, and I have experienced it. But there's thousands of stories out there. And there are two, Jose de Silva technique is very much worth giving a go if you want to change your life, and you know, and you don't have thousands of pounds to buy their courses and that. You can just buy a book for like 10 quid on eBay and read it and do it diligently. So that's the story of Jose de Silva.
Mind over matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic, man. You know, and it's really and truly, I've come to a point in my life where you realize that you don't need anything. You just need your own willpower and all the machines and supplements and courses and buying online stuff like for only $599 a month. You know, it's like there's so much grifting in the kind of truther community, so much grifting in the spiritual new age supplement world. Like, this supplement will regrow your hair and bring back your kundalini and make your nipples 3 times longer. This fucking on and on, continuous barrage of shit that people are trying to sell you. And really and truly, when it comes down to it, when you realize in the end, is that you can do it yourself. And I'm not saying those things don't work. You know, they help, they mitigate your circumstances, and they can help you for sure. But ultimately, all of it we have to do. That's the end. That's the last page in the book when you read it, when you're going through all of this awakening and truth seeking and podcasting and speaking and reading thousands of books. In the end, you realize you just got to do some shit yourself and stop outsourcing to everyone else. Because, you know, that's what even all the gurus would say, like Buddha would say, I can give you a raft to cross the river, but when you get to the other side, you're not carrying the raft of you across the desert. Now you're on your own. I can only help you go there. I can only point you where you need to go. The work is yours to do. It's the same for if you're a believer in Jesus, if you're a believer in Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad. That's, you know, the fundamental tenet is that you got to do it.
You get out what you put in.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, anything that you've succeeded at in life, you've generally put in like 10,000 hours of practice. I mean, how long did you take, you know, spend playing bass guitar? You have to spend a long time before it's just like second nature. And you're just, you know, I spent thousands of hours DJing on vinyl, thousands and thousands of hours playing out, doing pirate radio, playing in my bedroom, buying records, playing them A-side, B-side, and backwards to see if there was any secret knowledge in there. And then eventually, suddenly, you become good at it. And it's just second nature. Suddenly, it's then in your own field, isn't it? It's like all that is kind of like filled up the hard drive of that part of your life. And suddenly, you're just good at it then.
Clicks.
And you can put that guitar down and pick it up like 10 years later, and you're still...
Shit. Yeah. Because I stopped in 2020.
You're still clanging in your mixing.
Yeah. Fucking hell. No, that is a case of use it or lose it. You forget it's good. You do. I think, yeah, you get to a certain level and you can probably stop for a bit, and then you'll get back to that level quicker. But there is a point of failure. Because we did a thing for your birthday, didn't we?
Yeah.
What was that, 22? 23?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago, 23.
2 years ago. So that was 3 years off.
Yeah.
And couldn't remember anything. But
That's
after
right.
about we did like one practice.
Yeah,
And then it started to come back. So
it was good.
yeah, you kind of bank it, don't you? You bank that information. It's like it's stored somewhere in those recesses. But I think we get these sort of programs that we run, and your brain just selects like the relevant program that you're using all the time. So when that program gets stuck to the back of your brain space, it kind of gets shoved to the back. It's like, oh, he doesn't need this anymore. Just shove it a bit further to the back. No, a bit further to the back. Because you fill your time with other things, and then you get into other things, and that takes up your mental capacity, especially for a smooth brain like me.
But the danger now, of course, is that you just scroll instead.
Oh my God.
Instead of playing Steely Dan, I think I'm trying to work out what you lot might like. You do look a bit like Gibb, one of the Gibson brothers. No, Gibb brothers, not Gibson. Gibson brothers are black. Not being racist. You don't look black. But you do look like one of the Barry Gibb.
Very good, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic musicians, don't knock them, like Chaz
No,
and Dave.
yeah.
People knock them, but they played on a load of funk band albums.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I forgot what I was saying.
I remember that interview they did with Clive James when they all walked out one by one. Do you remember?
I can.
Yeah.
Was he being particularly cheeky? with
Twatty.
them? Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's only one.
That's a perfect example of someone that, like years ago in the past, I'd watch Clive James and think, was it James Well? No, sorry, I was thinking of James Well for some reason. One of them turned out to be a right twat.
Right.
Really, I mean, I'm very anti-vaccine type human being. I was on the marches. I was fighting the fight in Trafalgar Square and all that. So I'm not a vaccine person. I've not been for years. So this is not a recent thing. But one of them was like, I think it's James Well. He's got cancer.
I thought he'd already passed away, James Well, recently.
Yeah, I think it's him. Yeah, it's him. It was him. So James Well, we used to watch like in the 80s and 90s and thought he was quite a cool dude. But then you realise there was a limit on his wisdom. He never progressed any further. And really that was his kind of bandwidth was set. You could only pick up like Radio 1 to Radio 2. There was no getting to Luxembourg at the end of the dial for old James Well. But yeah, there you go. Some people progress, some people stay stagnant.
Till the next go around.
Yeah. Are you lot all, so what's your perspectives then on life,
Fucking
the universe and everything?
Wow. I mean, where do we start?
Are you awakened souls? Is this what you free? Are you the trio of wise? Are you a trio of wandering chefs?
We're a trio of wandering shits, I think. Would be probably a more accurate description.
The free
Yeah.
The only thing I know, Tony, is I don't know anything.
Yeah, that's the best thing to say ever. Doesn't matter what you learn. How many books you read? I've read so many books.
Yeah, bullshit.
Let me tell
means
you, I
nothing.
shit words. I shit pages daily. The more you read, the less you fucking can grasp often.
The less you know, that's true. I remember, like 20 years ago, reading my first Graham Hancock book or something like that, and it's like, oh, this is it. This is the truth. Lost civilization 20,000 years ago. And then you read another book that totally contradicts it. It's like, where do you stand now? It's like the more you read, the less you truly know, because you realise that all these guys writing these books, it's just their perspective.
Yeah.
It's just their story. And you have to sort of divine the truth the best you can with the information you have.
Journey. Yeah. It's a personal journey, all of it, whether you're playing guitar, or doing yoga, or, learning how to make brownies with no gluten in them. You need to do it yourself and work it out yourself, because you can't see. There doesn't seem to be a definitive truth that you can latch onto. Obviously, if you're Christian or religious, you think, this is it now. The sermon is spoken, and we are all here. I'm not taking the piss. I'm just saying that there are definitive places you can go in life and say, you know, we are this and we are that, and these are our beliefs. And I suppose that suits some people.
It's just another book there, Tony, isn't it? It's another book, a slightly bigger book.
Yeah, it's another book to read.
While you're focusing on that, you're not got time to, like you say, plough your own furrow.
And this is it. This is where I've come to after like a long period of time of, you know, soul searching and dramatic kind of like life changes in the last 6 years. But having been involved in and out of kind of metaphysical stuff and being always involved in the like interested in the paranormal and stuff, but you come to a point you realize that you're just overloading yourself with loops of information. You realize not to go down any more rabbit holes because you're just fucking sitting in a dark rabbit hole with a load of other people looking at each other going, what the fuck do we do now then? And then you know, I put out the videos I put out on X generally are like that way inclined. That's, you know, themes like, what are you going to do now with all that information? Now that you've learned all that shit about Hillary Clinton and Macron's wife having a penis and QAnon drops, you know, and men behaving like women and being in the toilet and nonsense about. Once you've learned all of these, what do you then do with all that information? Fuck all is what you do with it. It's not like you've learned how to bake a nice cake or to play a tune on your guitar or to grow tomatoes. Once you realize that most of 98% of that information has no value. This is what happens. You say, I don't watch TV no more now. That's it. I'm now the man with no TV. And you go, what do you do now? I watch YouTube. YouTube night and day. Fucking lovely. Clip people falling over, ostriches, like laying eggs. Did you know they lay big eggs? Like, all this fucking shit that you don't need. Just churning around in your head. It's like I've given up bread. I've given up another sanctimonious virtue signaling. No more gluten in me. What do you do now? I eat 400 oatcakes a day with half a pack of butter because they're as dry as fucking an Arab sandal. So you replace one with another. One with another. I've given up Coke, so now I just smoke weed. I've given up weed. I just have the odd beer. Given up beer. I have a decaf coffee. It's just... We go in these loops. We're doing the same shit with different labels. You know what I mean? I don't stare at women no more and make them uncomfortable. But what I have got is a pair of mirrored sunglasses where I can look to the side like that while appearing to be looking northwest. I'm actually looking eastwards towards that woman's ass. So I'm not upsetting anyone anymore. You're doing exactly the same shit. And that's what I've read. So until you actually stop with all, you know, start actually giving things up, finding the space in between and just being silent within it. When you give yourself that space of silence, suddenly things start coming in. Stop filling our heads with so much shit, you know. And we was talking about it tonight after dinner, me and my family, that it's like the difference between, a very good analogy actually is basketball games. I don't know if any of you have any remote interest in basketball. I have an interest in basketball because I played it at school. But when you go to a basketball game, it's a continuous assault on your senses. They're flashing lights and there's things popping off like pyrotechnics. There's a guy on the microphone going, and he's on the attack. It's like a continuous like barrage of everything you could possibly imagine, just in case you lose interest for a microsecond. And everyone starts going, defense, defense. It's like fucking drives you mad, right? I mean, if you're on the spectrum, you're going to go in there, your head's going to explode like the fat man in the Monty Python sketch. Like, you compare that to watching the cricket. It's such an amazing comparison. It's like, and now he's going to walk over there. Yeah. And like 18 seconds to... And he doesn't run, so he can make it quick, like in baseball. He just walks slowly, picks up his hat, and it's back on his head. James has got the ball now. Lancashire, 4 for 7. And everyone's just sitting patiently. All the English was just sitting like that. No one's fucking eating popcorn. No one's got like or a big fucking plastic hand. Yeah. Everyone's just, it's actually really quite wonderful when you think about it. And the commentary of cricket, and I'm not a cricket fan per se. I mean, I like it. I don't mind a bit of it. But it's slow and it's almost kind of meditative. It's like, in essence, it's a bit spiritual. It's like British spirituality is in the cricket. I only realised that today. It's a really good analogy because the other side of it, like the watching like basketball, is a fucking heinous assault on the senses. And I love the game, and I take kids on a Sunday morning to play basketball, but it's just us and playing basketball. There's no like fucking TV screens, you know, with tits on them and like and explosions and lasers. And Elon Musk, you know, like coming in my rocket, like landing. It's just a complete. It's incredible, and that's kind of like a bit like our modern age, where we can't stop and find a little bit of space and just look at a flower, you know, listen to the birds. And actually, if you do get into those moments, and this is, I only realised this very recently, the British are spiritual in their own way. You know, without religion, they go for dog walks, they do their gardening, they have their privet queuing patiently for God, and like, you know, like chopping the privet hedges. There's an element of Eastern philosophy in that. You know, there really is when you think about it, because they're doing all of those meditative practices, and they're not, you know, and it does slow you down and take you into that space, which is very, very important. And I think that's where you find your kind of divine self, and you start to be, if you've read a lot of books, you can start to digest the information from them in those moments.
That's it's really nice.
It also was very nice.
Why do I
spiritual?
Rehearsing all day.
No, yeah,
Spiritual.
well delivered.
The spiritual cricket ritual.
Yes,
The Ashes would be like the pinnacle of British spirituality.
It would.
Yeah, the ashes. It's kind of like something in that as well, isn't it? The burnt ashes of civilization.
It's kind of esoteric, no?
Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if there is something like behind it, some ritual that they all go and do.
Yeah.
The Illuminati, when they're playing cricket against each other, you know, with some owl as the referee, as the umpire. An actual real owl who's like 18 foot tall, going, woo, out.
Tony, we've been on for over 40 minutes now. We still haven't got to Steiner skills yet, man. That's something I really wanted to talk to you about, because I only got into esoteric, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe? Something like that. So too late for my kids, but you mentioned that your kids have been through, they're called Waldorf schools, right? Is it?
Yeah, they're called Waldorf schools. So Waldorf was a cigarette factory. It's hilarious because they could be called the Benson and Hedges School. I like to joke with the other parents, and they're like, and or they could be the Rothmans 40-a-day school. And so he had all these workers from I think that was the owner of the Waldorf factory said, could you build we're going to build a school, can you devise a schooling system for my workers' children? And that's where it started, so about 100 odd years ago,
with Rudolf Steiner.
Yeah, so he's the man he is. So Steiner, like an overview of him, is he's connected to spirit. So he's a spiritual scientist, you could kind of say. So he's connected to spirit. So his information is coming from the other side, and he was connected all his life. So he gave over 8,000 lectures. He would come down to Tintagel, and he'd come down to Salisbury, Glastonbury. He'd go to all those type of places, and he lectured all the time, and he could lecture on any subject. So if there was someone would say to him, "Can you give us a lecture on engineering in our age?" He would be able to just talk for like hours. He's like a stream of consciousness, and it all makes sense. And it wasn't kind of like baloney. And he devised some really amazing systems. The schooling system is amazing. The biodynamic gardening, when you really look into that, is pretty amazing, and it's super esoteric. So there's ways of preparing the soil and the compost using ground up cow horn, and you have to do things on certain full moons, and the shit works. This is the crazy thing, is it works. So he's got a whole, and it's all super organic, you know, before we needed to have that kind of stuff in the modern age. But you know, this is, you know, so he was around in the 1920s kind of era. Yeah. He was poisoned, it's greatly believed. So he was poisoned by dark forces, kind of attacking him quite a lot. And there's some controversy about him, but I think every great kind of spiritual kind of master or leader or kind of anyone that's kind of like representing good and light, it gets attacked by the system. So there's some corners of the spectrum within anthropophagy that say he was racist, but they say that about anyone who's ever done anything really in history. He wasn't racist at all. He was like a non-racist human being. He talked about reincarnation, and a lot of it is very complex. A lot of his philosophy is super complex, super difficult to digest, but essentially he was a very connected person. He had an amazing ability to connect with the other side, and he would lecture about anything, whether it was Atlantis or talking about the vaccines 100 years. I don't know if you've ever seen that clip floating around the internet of he talked about a vaccine coming out in the future, a medical procedure that would separate the soul from the body. That's Rudolf Steiner. So he was talking about the mRNA vaccine that's come out like during COVID. So like super connected human being, and the schools produce very nice rounded kids. In Germany, they're free. The schools in most of the world, they're free. They're paid for by the government. Wow. Like a normal kind of like a music school or an art school. They're a bit like that. Here you have to pay, so it's a struggle for a lot of people because it's generally not rich people that go to them. It's just people with free jobs and who are sacrificing a lot to send their kids there. And they're like the very low end of like the spectrum of paying for schooling. It's like not like a private school where it's thousands of pounds per term. But generally, there's a lot of emphasis on performance arts and music, and a little bit of spirituality, some rituals like dragon slaying rituals and things like a Michaelmas and things that people were doing through the ages that are not done anymore. So like jumping over fires, lots of things. But the kids are much more connected, in my opinion. You know, when you see kids like, and this is like an affront on a normal schooling system. I went to a normal comprehensive violent school in North London, and I'm all right. And but the kids that come out of those schools are kind of easy to talk to, and they're quite rounded and they're quite mature, and they're slightly different. They have a slightly different kind of perspective on the world. So yeah, that's a kind of overview of it. I mean, his actual kind of philosophies are super complicated, really. A lot of them, they're to do with like phases of Venus and a human evolution being in kind of a gaseous form and then slightly more solid as it moves into Saturn, and not stuff you could go into in a. But I could recommend a good person who would take you through the basics of that, who's quite funny, an Aussie guy, friend of mine called Mick, who's also on YouTube. Cool. Yeah, he would be a great person to take it a little bit further. Yeah, on it, because he's got a podcast about that very subject.
Wow, nice one. I imagine there's not many kids that come through Steiner School addicted to social media. And
I wouldn't say that. I'm not going to say that they're all kind of like shining and going, oh, you know, like in robes, just floating on clouds, and you know, and it's not like that, but it's a little bit like that. Yeah, it's a little bit. Some of them are going to be addicted to, because I mean, who isn't? You can't escape it. But you know, I think that's a battle for all children and all schools and all parents at the minute, is the phone and the screen time, which is kind of like locking us in to this alternative reality, isn't it? Because I think that's where the battle is, really and truly. It's whether we go into consciousness or we go into the mainframe. So there's they're the two paths for humanity. And I think some people are happy to go into the mainframe. They're happy to have devices drilled into their heads and, you know, to be test tubes, kind of be, you know, part of that test kind of tube future. They're like the Borg in Star Trek. I don't want to offend the Star Wars fan there. But you know what I mean? I think that's, and he foresaw that. So when he talks about good and evil, for example, he talks about it's more than two sides. There's three sides. There's the Christ consciousness in the middle. Yeah. And then one side you've got the Lucifer. And the other side you've got Ahriman. And it all needs to be in balance. They all need to be present for humanity to evolve and to exist and for things to work. But when one goes out of balance, Lucifer the light bearer, Ahriman the kind of materialist, kind of taking people more into the material. Then we have problems on the earth. But the Christ kind of, because he's a great believer in Jesus and Christ and the mystery of Golgotha, as he calls it, when he rises from the dead.
A great way I've heard it explained is with the old Buddhist greeting of a fist in the palm, in an open hand like that. You've got your open hand, which is more sort of luciferic. It's more open, whimsical, open-minded. And then you've got the fist, which is solid and Ahrimanic and structure. And when you link these things together, you kind of, it's like giving yourself a little signal in your brain to be conscious of trying to keep these things in balance,
And I think that's really important that we have to find that balance. I don't think you don't get rid of evil. You're not here to change the world, I don't believe. I think you're here to work on yourself, work your way through the system, through the game, however one wants to kind of look at it. I don't know what he says about things like, is this an illusionary kind of dreamlike existence? I think he does touch on that, but maybe another person who's a bit more kind of knowledgeable, like Mick, would be better and that would be an interesting place to go to find out a bit more, like what he thought about. Because now there's quite a consensus of thinking amongst some scientists that we're in a kind of holographic kind of reality, isn't it? Kind of, in the spiritual terms, it's a dream. In like Buddhism, Hinduism, we're in a kind of dream state. This isn't when we're out of the body in the spirit world. We're in the real. Here is a dream simulation
theory. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the same thing, but different language. Yeah. Different language. And I tell you who I've been listening to on YouTube quite a bit. And he'd be right up your alley, you three. I mean, he's got a big channel now, and he's been going for a long time. And you might know him, Archaics.
Oh yeah, Jason Bashir. Holographic construct.
That's it, him.
Yep.
So he talks about that quite, and I think he's worth listening to get another point of perspective. If that's where you're at on your journey, you want to know what this nature of this reality is, or you just smoke shitloads of DMT and just hope for the best. Basically, well, I tell you, a friend of mine who's another guy on YouTube, Justin Panks, he told, and I'm sure he won't mind me sharing this, but he did some DMT. This is so funny. He's smoking some DMT, and suddenly he just saw like an alien grey, but it was him looking at him through its eyes, and the grey was like shocked that he'd kind of like was like, "What the fuck? You're not supposed to see me!" Like as if Pac-Man had just turned around and said, Pac-Man's going, turns around and goes, "Hello," like that, and he said it was so real. It was far more real than this.
Wow.
And I thought that actually makes a lot of sense to me.
Wow.
There's beings controlling us, whether it's our soul or some other alien with a different soul, and they're all playing this game of humanity on Earth.
Yeah, just jump in a meat suit, borrow a meat suit for 70 years and play this simulation and see if you learn anything at the end of it. Yeah. And then you go back out and reunite.
That might only be 10 minutes for them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the 30 seconds.
It might miss out. Yeah, it might miss out all the crap bits. Like, when you're watching a movie, hour and a half, you don't see anyone going for a shit. Yeah. You don't see people blowing their nose or, queuing up in a supermarket. Yeah. In a couple of kind of French movies, perhaps. But essentially, maybe all of that's edited out. And you're just getting all the highlights, and you're playing, going, "Whoa, look at that!" A bit of shagging, it's like, Smoke doing a line of Charlie off of a toilet seat in Reading in 1988. Hey, and then a bit spiritual, maybe in an ashram, grow a beard, kind of a bit more thoughtful, treating women nicer. Then back to shit again. You miss it, but you miss out all the kind of supermarket queuing.
Yeah, it's like a movie trailer.
Yeah,
this summer.
Yeah,
Tony Marresse's life.
And you could probably jump in and see other people's, like the recording of it. And I'm starting to think that's this term NPC has come out of late, and I think there's an element of truth to that, because the Gnostics talked about something very similar, that not all the avatars have got souls in them.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's 1 out of 4, so it's someone here. It's just an Autobot. That's not what I'm saying. But I think the number's around 500 million of the humans on Earth have got something present in them like a soul, and I think the rest are something else. Yeah.
Whoa, those odds don't look good.
No.
If you believe what they tell you about
No, that's a
population.
lot, man,
I'm not
but-
sure I do.
But isn't it funny that the Georgia Guidestones have the number of 500 million?
True, yeah, good shout.
Right?
Yeah.
And then and then I've seen another couple other kind of independent bits of information in the last few months with numbers around 500 million saying the same thing.
No way.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a theory, but the Gnostics, who were very kind of like, in tune with all the ancient knowledge, and that they'd held it for a few thousand years, the Gnostics, the lineage coming down with them, and they knew some shit.
Yeah, they would
were saying that-
they would probably argue there's only actually one, but it's been blipped, it's been disintegrated into 500 million parts, and your job is to get back to the source.
Maybe to keep the it's like if you're playing, if you are playing a computer game like Super Mario World or one of those games, you're controlling Mario and you're jumping and looking for mushrooms, but all the other things around you, they have to be in the game, otherwise the game's empty, isn't it? You're gonna have to have dragons and the mushrooms that chase you, and the other drivers in cars, but they're not controlled by anyone. So if you think about it in that respect, it kind of makes a little bit of sense.
Well, Tony, we're gonna have to let you go. You're late now for your meditation session.
Yeah.
No, don't worry about that. We can do that. But if you want to end now, we can end. But so I've talked too much. Have I talked too much?
No,
No,
not
not
at all. No, we're literally just rocking up to an hour, so that's perfect, I think.
Yeah.
But it's nice what you're doing though, because you were talking about earlier about people sort of stepping back from the TVs or the books or whatever it is that they fill the conscious with 24 hours a day. It's nice that you're giving people an opportunity communally to just sort of, come on,
Yeah.
here's the time, jump in and we'll do it together. No excuses.
And to be honest, last Sunday, I had the most extraordinary experience with it, where the room was full of like energy. I believe it was angelic energy, but it was just humming in here. And
Have you had your meter changed recently?
But honestly, it was absolutely mad. It was a bit like being on a trip, but it was on nothing. All I'd had is a cup of tea. So it sometimes it really lands pretty incredibly. So I think that the group thing together, you're amplified.
Yeah.
Like an orchestra or choir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Super. Right.
Frequency's higher.
I like that.
Well, you need to follow Tony on Twitter and then you can join in, can't you? Join in and get your meditation game sorted.
Galactic Zoo on Twitter, on X.
Is it at Tony Marresse?
At Tony Marresse, yeah.
I've got it in the show notes then. Good.
Yeah.
I got it right.
It's been
Well-
very nice talking to you, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
Nice to meet you
Yeah,
too.
nice to meet you. It's been good fun,
Nice
this.
to meet you.
Yeah.
And we'll catch up again further down the line.
I hope
this-
I
in this
answered
cycle.
some of the questions anyway.
You definitely
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, definitely,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of positive comments I've seen
Yeah.
in the chat.
Yeah.
There's people throwing the tuppence in, so that's nice to see. And thanks for your time, Tony. I really appreciate it. Have a good night.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Thanks, lads. I
Enjoy the
appreciate your
meditation.
time. Thanks for
Okay.
having me
See you,
on.
Tony.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Okie dokie. We'll be back for part 2 very soon.
Yes.
Do some news, some
Yeah.
headlines,
Yeah.
some housekeeping.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a quiet week for news, to be fair, but we've got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there's always something.
So join us on the next event, starting in 10 minutes. We've had a piss and a comfort break.
Yeah.
All right. Check out the links in the show notes and follow Tony on Twitter. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.